bitter tears, bitter tears. Do no wrong. First time in years. So far. Push away your bitter tears, bitter tears. Loses. Yeah. Check, check, check. Check, check. I can't reach it. I love you. Yes, I do. Welcome to LA Press Box, everybody. And I'm really glad that you're going to be joining us again for another Dodgers game. I'm Aaron Gideon, host of LA Press Box, and tonight the Dodgers are going to be playing the Twins as they wrap up their 3-game series at Target Field in Minneapolis. So far, the series has really belonged to the Dodgers, and it hasn't even been close. The Dodgers entered tonight's game looking for the sweep after taking the first 2 contests by a combined score of 14-4. On Monday, the Dodgers leaned on the long ball with Shohei Ohtani launching yet another leadoff home run, second pitch of the game, and I believe that was either his 24th or 25th of his career. After Buxton answered in the bottom of the first inning, Freddie Freeman delivered what was the game-winning home run later in the game, and it ended up being a 2-1 victory for the Dodgers. Pitching staff was equally impressive, holding Minnesota to just 1 run, while Eric Lauer tossed 6 hitless innings in relief. Then on Tuesday, the Dodgers broke out offensively in a big way. They pounded out 17 hits yesterday in kind of a laugher 12-3 win. Freddie Freeman went 3 for 5 with 2 doubles and 2 RBIs. Andy Pages added 3 hits of his own, which was a little bit of a relief to see. Don't know if he's going to make the All-Star team, but we'll see. I think his body of work so far in the first half of the season has really merited it. Justin Robleski turned in 7 strong innings to earn his 9th victory of the season, and the odds look good that he's going to be on that plane to the All-Star game along with Shohei and Freddie. We'll see how that plays out as well. That means that through the first 2 games of this series, the Dodgers have really dominated, combining dominant pitching with some pretty timely hitting, although last night was a bit of a blip, and obviously everybody got hits. In fact, it was right down to the end before Max Muncy got his. Otherwise, he would have been 0-5. But they brought in a relief pitcher and hit a line shot right down the right field line, and he was obviously happy to be on that train and not be the only Dodger that didn't get a hit last night. So the Dodgers, of course, hoping to end this road trip on a high note and then get a day off tomorrow before and as they transition to a little more south of their Southern California spot in Los Angeles to face their modern rivals, the San Diego Padres. And the last time that the Dodgers came down, I actually went to one of those games. The Padres are up on the Dodgers a half game in the standings for the NL West. But they've had completely different paths, generally speaking, since then. Dodgers now have the best record in baseball, and the Padres are hovering between 8 and 10 games behind them. But it's always a good matchup when the Dodgers and Padres get together, and a couple of the Dodgers have property or are from San Diego, so probably a couple of them will head down here early and be on the golf links. But tonight's matchup comes first, and that features one of the more intriguing pitching duels of the week. Shohei Ohtani is on the mound, which is always a thrill, while Minnesota counters with right-hander Joe Ryan. So for Twins fans, Ryan's return is a welcome sight after illness forced a change in Minnesota's rotation plans earlier in the season. For Dodgers fans, Ohtani has just been kind of mush-wash baseball, reality TV, if you will, but better than that, of course. He's been somewhat human the last 2 outings on the bump. He's had what has been reported as a blister on his throwing hand, so we'll see if that affects him at all tonight. He went in those couple of games from an ERA of below 1 to now about $1.50. But the Twins are going to be trying to avoid the sweep, needless to say, get their offense going after only managing those 4 runs in the first 2 games. They're going to look to Buxton, of course, who hit a home run in that first game of the series, but he's been relatively quiet ever since. The Dodgers are just going to try to keep the train going. The formula is simple, even though they do have some injuries that they're struggling with. There are reports that Teoscar Hernandez could be back before long, but Will Smith he's not even doing baseball stuff with the neck strain. Needless to say, the Dodgers are in good shape, and so they hope to continue to lean on strong starting pitching, quality at-bats throughout the lineup, and, of course, contributions from the bottom part of the lineup in addition to their stars, which has really made a huge difference when they've got those from those young players like Call and like Rushing and a handful of other ones. So stay with us throughout the evening. We're going to break down the pitches, the hits, the stories, and hopefully have some laughs along the way. As you can see on our screen capture, the Dodgers are, of course, pretty clear favorites, as you would expect them to be. And Shohei Ohtani is going to be taking his 7-2 record into tonight's game with his ERA, as I said before, just below 1.5. He's got 78 Ks on the season. And then Ryan, with a 5-3 record, has a very respectable, solid ERA of 2.99 with 99 strikeouts on the season. You can see the 2 lineups here. And for the Twins, Larnock will be first in left field, followed by Buxton, who's made some really good plays in the field, as well as adding some run production in second field. Second up is Cody Clemens, son of Roger Clemens, playing right field, and then Bell in the cleanup position, also being the DH. Lewis is at first base, Lee at third base, Caratini, who is not only playing catcher and batting in seventh, but has, in my opinion, been a thorn in the umpire's side. The home plate umpire has probably been overturned by Caratini's challenges at least 6 times in the first 2 games. So we'll see how that continues. Gray is in eighth. Kreidler at shortstop brings up the rear of the batting order. And then for the Dodgers, of course, Ohtani is pitching and leading off, followed by Andy Pages in center field and Freeman at first base. And then in the cleanup position where he's been for a few weeks now, and he seems to be a little bit relieved, having his batting average well over 200, which of course is not a picture of success, but it's much better than the evidence of his recent struggles, Mookie Betts. So you really have 4 all-stars, more or less, and you could argue definitely a 5th in the top 5 batting positions for the Dodgers if you count Max Muncy at third base. Then that's going to be followed in right field by Alex Call, Ryan Ward in left field. Dylan Rushing is back after taking that foul tip into the mask and reported concussion symptoms. And then in the 9th position will be Alex Freeland. All right, guys. So we're going to refresh here, and we're going to get your 3D visuals going, and we will start with the first pitch shortly. All right, we are just about ready for the first pitch. Shohei Ohtani did not play the entire game yesterday, but did get some action at the plate. He's going to be doing double time as he often does tonight. So the Dodgers have won 18 of the last 21 games versus Minnesota, and they've outscored them by 53 runs. I think that the Twins have not beaten the Dodgers, have not taken a series from the Dodgers in over a decade. So Obviously, that streak's going to stay alive, but they're hoping that they don't get swept tonight. And the first pitch is late because Joe Ryan's late. I guess he's got a rep for that, but we should get started shortly here. I know traditionalists have long argued, at least they did, that you shouldn't have these intersectional interleague games in the middle of the season. But I think it's great to have a slate of games where you're playing somebody from the American League if you're the Dodgers and vice versa. Ryan's still getting warmed up, and they're showing Justin Robleski in in the dugout tapping his wrist, going, "Come on, man, let's go. We got to get this game done. We got to get out of Minnesota, get back to SoCal, and maybe San Diego tomorrow." I'm not sure what the Dodger policy is like that. As I've said before, I'm more of a football guy than a baseball person, at least after the high school level, and so it's just very different. When I was a Division I coach and player, we would often arrive someplace the day before to make sure we got just kind of acclimated, especially if there was a time difference. At the very least, do some light workout on the football field, see how the weather is shaping up. But obviously, it's a different game. So, still waiting on Ryan to get loose. Dave Roberts looks annoyed. He's on his feet. Going, "Come on, man. The whole world says first pitch 440, and it's 443. But Shohei Ohtani finally walking up to the box. Ryan still flapping his arms like a bird, trying to make sure he's loose. Checking his shoelaces. And finally settling in. All right, so the first pitch and swung on and lined right to right field. Great contact by Shohei. Just hit it to the spot where you don't want somebody to be. But fortunately, we're underway. So he swings on the first pitch, which was a strike, as you can see, and made great contact. Would have been a hit, probably a double if it was in the gap. And if he got under it a little bit, it would have been a home run. So that brings up Andy Pages in his customary number 2 position, batting .269 with 15 home runs on the season. First pitch in there for a strike. And the second one misses high for a ball, 1-1. Andy with a slightly open stance fouls off the next pitch for strike 2. When we say open, it means like the front leg, the one that's closest to the pitcher, is kind of back just a little bit compared to the back foot or the plant foot. And a lot of times, batters will do that just to help them see the ball a little bit easier and see it sooner. Second pitch is high for a ball. especially if you're facing somebody who throws with the same arm to the side that you're standing on in the box. So right on right, left on left. Next pitch on the way and catches the corner of the strike zone for strike 3. So 2 away. And he was just frozen looking at that knuckle curve. And in the dugout, he's still shaking his head like, what did I just see? But that brings up Freddie Freeman, future Hall of Famer who's seen it all. First pitch, fouled for strike 1. Next pitch on the way and well low for ball 1, 1-1. Oh, about a month ago or so, a little less than that, Freddie Freeman got his 2,500th hit. And so now he's on the march to 3,000, rarefied air. Next pitch is swung on and fouled back. Count is 1-2. Freeman's batting .278 on the season with 13 home runs. Very timely home run hitting. And all kinds of extra base hits. Hits doubles, hits triples. I mean, I'd almost expect him to more often hit the cycle. So 2-2 with 2 outs. And the pitch to Freeman, swung on a miss for strike 3. So Shohei Ohtani on the way. So Ohtani's ERA now is second in the league. As we said before, 1.47, which is still amazing, even though for a good part of the season, his ERA was less than 1. First pitch swung on, it was outside of the strike zone. Chopped to Ohtani, throws easily to Freddie Freeman for the first out of the inning. And he's biting at his finger, and I don't think he's just biting his nails. You don't see him do that out of nervousness. So it's got to be something to do with that blister. The way he was gnawing at it makes it look like it was at the very tip of his finger, excuse me. But they're saying in the broadcast it's near the knuckle. So brings up Buxton, batting .275. Started the series with a bang. Hit a home run at the bottom of the first in the first game of the series. Batting .275 with 225 home runs on the season. Well, that pitch looked good. And Ohtani is 1-2 with the count on Buxton. Threw a sweeper in there, nice and low, but in the strike zone. So the 1-2 pitch swung on him by Buxton and hit to left field. And Ryan Moore with a great sliding catch, using that speed, sprinting up, and catching it with style. And Shohei Ohtani with a little bit of a shoulder shrug and a big smile to him. Appreciated that play. So 2 away. Next up is Cody Clemens in the third spot, son of Roger Clemens, batting .244, and the first pitch is a ball. And the next pitch on the way. Ooh. Looked like it caught the corner of the strike zone, but the umpire doesn't give it to him. So 2-0. He looks like he's in a little bit of disbelief, Ohtani is. But this is not the point in the game to be challenging calls that are borderline at all. You want to wait and save those challenges for crucial situations. Next pitch is also a ball, so Ohtani starts Clemens 3-0. Shaking his head. Too early to say whether he feels comfortable or not. He has shown some good pitches early on. But the next pitch misses as well. 4 straight balls. So Ohtani walks Clemens. And that brings up the cleanup hitter, Bell, with 2 outs and a person on first base. First pitch misses for a ball. So 5 straight balls from Ohtani. Next one in there for a strike. That looked like a good pitch. So 1-1 to Bell. Next pitch, swings and pops it up for an easy third out of the inning, and Bell was not happy. You could hear him scream an F-bomb on the broadcast. I thought they had a delay button for that stuff. But I think every other game, I'll hear somebody throw out a curse word of some kind. But no drama. And that's the end of the first inning with the Dodgers 0 and the Twins 0. All right, so Mookie Betts coming up to start the second inning against Ryan. Mookie had 2 hits yesterday. And he's been batting about .350 over his last 10 games, which is exactly the kind of upswing we all want to see from Mookie. And sometimes, it's about where you are in the lineup, and this is why Dave Roberts is not afraid to try different combinations. It looks like, for the time being, the people that he was switching the most to help them get more comfortable, Andy Pages, Mookie, and a little bit to an extent, Max Muncy, kind of found the spots in the Dodger lineup where, for now, they feel comfortable and they're being pretty productive. Early count to Mookie is 2-1. But still only batting .218 on the season. And 20 RBIs. Fouls it off for strike 2. 2-2. And the next pitch misses for a full count to Mookie Betts, who's done an outstanding job at shortstop since they moved him from right field. And the next pitch, fouled off, keeps the count 3-2. So, no outs. 0-0 early on at the top of the second. Pitch, swung on, hit, deep to left center, and it is gone! A home run from Mookie Betts. Great contact. Ryan looks a little bit gobsmacked on the mound. And Mookie hit it, I'd say a little less than 5 feet above the fence, but that was good enough for the home run. So that brings up Max Muncy with an early lead for the Dodgers, 1-0. When Mookie was rounding first, the first baseman was kind of in his way, so he just did a little light bump and then looked back and pointed at him. Like, dude, you know that was a home run. Get out of the way. So Max Muncy up. Batting .263, and the early count to Max is 1-1. So still no outs with a 1-run lead for the Dodgers. Pitch on the way, swung on and hit cleanly for a base hit into left field. So Max off to a strong start, and maybe we'll have another hit parade today. That would be awesome for the Dodgers, and of course we would want to see Shohei Ohtani have a good outing. Doesn't look comfortable early on. Well, that brings up Alex Call, who's really had a great season, especially thinking about how he's been pretty mediocre in limited action this year. But he is batting .270. His 1 home run came in this series, and it's great because this is where he grew up. They were talking earlier this week about how he absolutely loves to come to this stadium because it's got great memories. He's coming to the stadium since he was really small, and of course that's when these dreams start about playing in the major leagues, and then of course in optimal situations playing well at the home stadium that you grew up going to. So the 1-1 count to Alex Call early on. And the pitch on the way, swung on and popped to right field, shallow, and an easy play made by the right fielder. And so that's going to bring up number 7 hitter, Ward. Ryan Ward's also played pretty well this series, which has been great to see. The pitch, and Max Muncy goes up standing, stealing second base for his first stolen base of the season. Wow. I think they really got caught asleep on that one. Max Muncy does not look like he can run. I mean, he looks like a fire hydrant, you know? He's thick, he's stocky. But for his body type, he can run pretty decent. And we've seen him a number of times score from second on a base hit. So great timing and great job catching them asleep at the wheel. So Muncy on second base in scoring position, and Ward up with a 2-1 count. Two-one pitch with one away, misses for ball 3. Three and one to Ward. And the next pitch swung on a miss for strike 2. So full count to Ward with Max Muncy on second base. Max Muncy with a pretty modest lead from second. And the next pitch is fouled off and out of play to the left. So the count remains at 3-2 with one out. Next pitch is on the way and grounded to second base for an easy play and the second out of the inning. However, Max Muncy advances from second to third base. So 2 away, man on third, and the Dodgers with the lead. So this brings up the catcher, Dalton Rushing, who had to go out of the game the other day because a foul tip hit him in the catcher's mask, and had concussion symptoms. But after concussion protocol, which of course everybody takes seriously these days, he's back in the lineup, which is great to see because we love Chucky Robinson. The fact that he can be there and we can have a serviceable catcher, third string catcher, is awesome. But I think the guy finally got his first hit in 2 years yesterday. So needless to say, we need more run production from the catcher, especially while Will Smith is out. So Rushing starts the count with 0-2 on 2 high fastballs. And the 0-2 pitch on the way from Ryan. Once again, fastball high, swung on and missed by Rushing. So 3 quick pitches to get Rushing. But the Dodgers get a run thanks to the solo home run from Mookie Betts, his 300th of his career. Another guy vying for Hall of Fame status once he retires. So at the end of the second rotation for the Dodgers, the score is 1-0. All right, we'll watch Ohtani as he warms up, and right now, if the 3D is accurate, doesn't look like he's fussing too much with that blister on his finger. And the last few pitches of last inning didn't look like he was fussing with it much either. You know, the thing about a blister, it's very different, obviously, on your throwing hand, and then, of course, if you're a pitcher, than some other sport. It's no big deal for a basketball player, a football player. But, you know, there's two things. One, potentially could be pain, and of course, Shohei's not going to complain about that. But the way it makes contact with the ball and then how the ball rotates off of your hand, especially when you have 6, 7, 8 different pitches, that can really affect your control. So far, so good, even though his control hasn't been great. We'll see how things continue. So Caratini at the plate, catcher for the Twins, and the first pitch is way outside. So that didn't look good. So the count is 1-0 to Caratini. The pitch on the way, swung on, and hit hard to right field for a base hit. Line drive, right to right field. Really good looking contact for Caratini. So the lead hitter is on in this inning, and you never like to see that. So it brings up the 6th hitter, Lewis, batting a meager .205 with 7 home runs. And the first pitch is swung on a miss for strike 1. Second pitch in there for a strike. And the third pitch swung on a miss for strike 3. So Ohtani finding a way to get it done. And 1 away in the inning. And that brings up the 7 hitter, Lee, batting .238. Caratini on first. No throws to first yet from Shohei. Squares up to bunt and watches it go in there for a strike. So 0-2 early. But Caratini on first probably doesn't merit any throws from the pitcher because catchers can't usually run very fast. But Lee shows the bunt, pulls it back, and then just watches it for a strike. So the count is 0-2 with 1 away. Lee's got 13 home runs and 45 ribbies on the season. Next pitch misses for a ball, 1-2. Looks like Ohtani's leaning pretty heavily on the splitters and the fastballs tonight. And next pitch is a fastball, 100-mile-an-hour fastball, but it misses, 2-2. Have to face the top of the lineup. Have to face the top of the lineup. Rushing steps out and just says, hey, go ahead and settle down, which is a bold thing for a young catcher to say to Shohei Ohtani, which It's still his job. You can't be intimidated by the fact that you might be catching for not only the greatest player of this generation, but maybe all time. Only time will tell. But Gray comes up and strokes one to center field. So 3 straight hits. And now, with only 1 out, the bases are loaded. Shohei points to himself and says, hey, that's on me. I got to be better. And we'll see if he is. 9-hitter Kreidler comes up. Oh, no. And the first pitch is inside. Relatively wild pitch, but Rushing should have caught it. And the pitch gets behind him for the first inning for the Twins. Excuse me, the first run for the Twins. That wasn't really a wild pitch. That pitch was inside. For whatever reason, Rushing moved his glove to the left too slow, bounces off his glove, and the runner comes home. And then the ball just rolls into the dugout, and Rushing's looking at Shohei like they weren't on the same page. Rushing's looking back at Shohei like, that's not the pitch that we agreed on, and so that's why I didn't react properly. And so now all of a sudden they have a conference on the mound. The pitching coach comes out, Rushing comes out there, and the translator. Yeah, and it looks like they scored at a pass ball, which they should. I know it's easy for me to say, even though I was a catcher, but you got to still be able to catch that if it's not the pitch that you're expecting. Ultimately, it was a ball, but it was just a little bit inside. So now the score is tied 1-1, and you have 2 more runners still in scoring position, a second and third, with only 1 out, and Kreidler up. The count is 1-1 to Kreidler, and the next pitch misses for ball 2. A little bit low. But Shohei is going to challenge this. So you can see the umpire down there going, please don't be right, please don't be right. And the challenge is successful. So Shohei Ohtani, with the successful challenge, and instead of a 2-1 count, it's flipped and it's 1-2. So still finds himself in a jam. Next pitch is foul down the right field line. But early on, and Shohei has not looked comfortable. Really from the get-go, the first 2 batters on. So huge hit from Kreidler. And he's thrown out. They're going to rule that he was out at second base. But they're still celebrating in the dugout because now they have a 2-run lead. So that'll bring up Larnach, top of the order, who is 0 for 1 so far. But there's been a couple of miscommunications between Rushing and Ohtani, and that's not good. So I don't understand why there would be a miscommunication, especially because they're on microphones now. It's not like the older days when, the catcher would signal something between his legs, and then Shohei, whoever the pitcher is, would either nod yes or no. It's just not like that anymore. And Shohei looks a little bit agitated. I don't know how much of it is agitation with himself, and if any of it's with our second string young buck catcher. So the count is 1-2, but that hasn't meant much this inning. And I don't like the body language from Rushing either. Like, he's shaking off Ohtani a lot of the time, and he's saying, I don't really know what he's saying. But he's shaking his head and saying something to the effect of, that's not the pitch we called, or no, that's not good, that's not the location. But you got to be careful about the mindset that you have. Anyway, the next pitch with 2 strikes is swung on and missed by Larnach for a strikeout. So we'll take that and get out of the inning. But obviously something's got to get cleared up. Meanwhile, I have to clear up. There was a little bit of a lag in the Wi-Fi, so during this break, I'm going to refresh stuff. And we'll be right back. All right, so Alex Freeland up. And the Dodgers in a small hole, but you can't expect to lose the game, especially this early on. Only down by 2 when the team you're playing's only scored 3. What you really want to do is be hitting a 5-run per game average, if not more. So the early count is 1-1. 1-2. And they show the dugout, and the body language is not great. There's frustration between pitching coach and the catcher and the pitcher, and Freddie Freeman goes and sits down next to Rushing, and it looks like the veteran's trying to talk to him about, hey man, you gotta wipe the slate clean. You can't be in a negative mindset, and you gotta move on from it. Otherwise, you're gonna drag Shohei down with you. And he's going to be saying something to the effect of that. And what happens when you're younger and your brain's still, I don't know how old Rushing is, if he's 24, 25. Your brain's still getting cooked out of the oven. Sometimes you're a little more inclined to get emotional, and that's not always a good thing. We'll see how it plays out next inning. But the pitch to Freeland swung on and hit into the gap pretty deep. And Freeland's going to go for 2 for a stand-up double. Now Dave Roberts goes over to Rushing and puts his arm around him. And seems to be giving some even more veteran advice to the young Rushing. So Tawny comes up with a man on second, and hopefully he can get some positive mojo with a hit. And the first pitch is swung on and grounded to center field past the second baseman, And that's exactly what happens. Strong start to the inning, and just like that, the Dodgers get their second run. And he didn't even get great contact. But he'll take that any day and do his dance as he often does, like all the Dodgers do when they get on base. So just like that, it's 3-2, and there's still no outs. Shohei Ohtani, who can run like the wind for a big man, is on first base. Dave Roberts still talking to Dylan Rushing about mindset, approach, body language, I'm sure. That's UCLA class right there, you know. Dave Roberts is taking all of this time to talk to Rushing and try to teach him how to approach this kind of a situation. And what's interesting is to see all of the different people that have approached Rushing in the dugout compared to Ohtani. Although Ohtani had to get ready to bat as soon as that inning was over. So 2-1 at this point to the second man in the lineup, Andy Pages, who's 0 for 1 so far. Now it's 2-2 to Pages. Ryan glances over at first base at Ohtani. Doesn't look like he's going to steal. Throws. And Pages looks at the exact same pitch in the exact same spot for the exact same result as last inning. So stares at strike 3. So 1 away, and suddenly Freddie Freeman up to bat after imparting some wisdom, hopefully, to Dalton Rushing, with Ohtani still on first base. And the first pitch misses for a ball, 1-0. Next pitch inside for ball 2. Two and 0 Freeman. Looks at ball 3, a sinker, misses low. So 3-0. And looks at ball 4. So now Ohtani moves to second, and Freeman joins him on the base paths. 1 away, runners on first and second. And with 2 runners on, that brings up Mookie Betts, who hit a home run, his 300th. Becomes the 17th active player to hit 300 home runs. So Mookie trying to do some more damage here. And the first pitch, outside slightly, check swing. And the first base umpire said, yes, he did go. So 0-1 to Betts. Next pitch, swung on and hit to left field easily for a base hit, and Ohtani is going to be held up at third. A little bit shallow, but everybody's safe and bases loaded. Bases loaded and one away, bringing up the 5-hitter Max Muncy, who jumped all over the ball his first at bat. He is 1 for 1. And now they're having a conference. See if we can pick up what they're saying. Oh, looks like they're just dancing and jumping. I guess whatever helps. Also, I've spent a little more time with this 3D stuff, and apparently there's only one color for a glove. You can have a pitcher with a golden glove, it's still going to show up as orange. But hey, it's okay. Probably get that corrected at some point in the future. So Ryan is now at his 54th pitch. And Muncy's been on a roll, especially in clutch situations lately. So see how he does here. And the first pitch is a ball to Muncy. Second pitch, swung on and hit in the hole. Solid ground ball hit to right field between first and second base for another run for the Dodgers. They're going to hold up the runner at third. But just like that, we even the score 3-3. Great job. Great job, Max Muncy. So 3-3 with 3 runners on. So Alex Call comes up, who's had an awesome series. It'd be a great cap on it if he could do some damage here. With bases loaded, first pitch is a ball. And the infield is up, trying to prevent Freddie Freeman from scoring from third base. Swung on, popped up shallow right field. Out is made, but here comes Freddie Freeman, tagging up from third, and he is home comfortably. 4-3 Dodgers. What a response. So Freddie Freeman, with a busy and productive inning, starts off sitting next to the young catcher, rushing, tries to give Dalton some words of wisdom, then jumps up to the plate, gets a hit. Sorry, does not get a hit, gets 4 straight balls thrown at him. He gets on base, and then tags up for the 4th run for the Dodgers. And just like that, the Dodgers go from down 3-1 to up 4-3. So good job by Call, making enough contact, stretching the defense so that Freddie Freeman, who's not particularly fleet, could tag up and score from third. So now Ward comes up with runners on first and second and 2 outs. And the early count to Ward is 2-1. Ryan at 60 pitches on the game. And this one is popped up shallow by Ward. And play easily made by the first baseman for the 3rd out of the inning, but not before some serious damage, and the Dodgers turn a deficit into a lead. And in the middle of 3, the Dodgers 4, the Twins 3. Thanks for joining us today, everybody, on LA Press Box. I'm your host, Aaron Gideon. Go ahead and get in the chat and tell us who you think's going to win. There's a poll there, and let us know where you hail from. Especially like to know if you're either in Los Angeles or you're from Los Angeles like I am. It's one of the reasons we have this channel going. We want to bring people together as fans for LA sports teams. So Ohtani back on the mound. We'll see how the body language works between Ohtani and rushing now. And I don't know about you, but I have a little bit of a sigh of relief knowing that they're going to be able to go forward and work on their communication with a 1-run lead. First pitch is swung on and missed. Strike 1 by Buxton. Excuse me. Next pitch misses for a ball. 1-1 to Buxton. Who's the unusual player that says there is no way I'm going anywhere but Minnesota. Swung on a miss for strike 2. Has a no-trade clause in his contract. And of course, you wouldn't be doing your job if you or a general manager for any team and didn't try to go after the best players like Buxton. Two and two to Buxton. With no outs, the 2-2 pitch to Buxton, called strike 3. And he's not going anywhere. He's just standing there, and he's going to challenge the call. Which is not a good time to challenge. But it's confirmed. Strike 3. So another strikeout for Ohtani. He definitely looks more confident now, and he looks a little more determined. Comfortable and determined. We'll see how that plays out. So that brings up Clemens, who fouls the first pitch off. And the next pitch misses just outside for ball 1, 1-1. Next pitch, swung on a miss, strike 2, 1-2 to Clemens. Battery looks more calm now. Communication looks more calm. Ohtani looks a little more certain, so that's good. 2-2. So that's a good sign. Don't see Ohtani biting in his blister. And swung on a miss, strike 3. Another strikeout for Ohtani. Yeah, I think he's mad right now. He's mad that he gave up those runs. I mean, I think he gave up 4 straight hits in that inning. And that's just not an outing that Shohei sees ever. And then on top of it, he has the miscommunication or whatever back and forth he had with the catcher. And like that, it's 0-2. Makes Bell look silly. The pitch to Bell. Swung on and missed, strike 3. So strikes out the side. Shohei Ohtani locks in, as they say, and comes out on fire in the inning. And at the end of 3, Dodgers 4, Twins 3. So catcher Dalton Rushing, with a little bit of a spotlight on him, is going to start this next at bat for the Dodgers. As of now, Ryan looks like he's still going out there. We'll see if they're going to confirm that shortly. And it looks like they do. Ryan's still on the bump. So the top of the 4th inning, and the Dodgers have a 1-run lead. And Rushing, 0 for 1 so far, batting .250. And so far, early results for this at bat in, Rushing has only taken strikes. So 0-2 to Rushing. It's easy to be out of sorts too. I've been in that space before as a football player, more so just because that's where my experience is. Swung on a miss, strike 3 for Rushing. So 2 strikeouts so far in 2 at bats. Whether it's being a football coach on the sidelines on game day, whether it's being a player, like if you let your emotions get too intense in a way that you don't want them to be, even if you're not, completely out of control, and then people call you on it, it can be a little bit embarrassing. And then that embarrassment can cause you to lose focus and get out of sorts for a while. So I think the older you get, the more mature you get, the easier it is to let things kind of slide and be in the moment and recover if you're even in that position. But the younger you are, the harder it is to kind of just regain your composure. You have like these Hall of Famers come up to you and basically say, hey man, that's not the way to go about things. That can definitely, put your mindset off path. So we'll see how Rushing does going forward. But after that strikeout, he came back to the dugout and slammed his helmet down, which it's not really a sign that he is composing himself. So Freeland up to bat on the next inning. He went out there completely focused and was almost a different pitcher. A guy who had given up a series of hits could have easily said, "Oh my gosh, it's not my day." And that's just not the mindset of great champions. Instead, he goes out the very next inning and strikes out three guys. 1, 2, 3. So we'll see how he does at the plate now. But Ryan's getting up there a little bit in the pitch count, with this being the fourth inning, and he's thrown 70 at this point. The 2-0 pitch is fouled off, and Ohtani fouls it into his right foot, his front foot. And I've seen them do that a bunch of times. I mean, he's got a protector, he's got a pad that he's wearing on the top of his right foot just for that situation. And depending on the swing and the style of the player, some of them will wear pads in those spots where the contact is most likely to ricochet off and hit them in the body. So right now at this point, Shohei is at a 2-2 count and asks for time. Probably still shaking off that pain, even though it probably hit at least a portion of the pad. So steps back in the batter's box, the pitch on the way, and swung on a miss for strike 3. So Ryan responds with his own set of strikeouts. And the score after the top of the fourth is still Dodgers 4 and Twins 3. And what we're saying about champions responding, it really goes for Ryan as well. I mean, he, after he had given up 3 runs, ends up responding with his own, set of 3 strikeouts in an inning. And that's what makes the best players. It's not just talent. Talent only gets you so far. Talent is just a starting point, honestly. Outside of talent, it's a lot of hard work and it's mental toughness that's developed over time. And you got to give credit to both pitchers for showing that. And at this point, we still have the 2 starters in, and Shohei on the mound with a 1-run lead. Shohei is ready, but he's come off the mound and he's making it look like he can't hear the pitches that are being said into his comm system. Well, I haven't seen this before. Rushing comes out and they open the box with all the equipment. Oh my goodness, this brings back memories as a football coach. Struggling with cameras and headsets and all that stuff. But it's like they lost the Bluetooth connection. And so Shohei points to his hat, which is where I'm sure the tiny microphone is built. And then he pulls up his sleeve with rushing, and you can see there's like a receiver under his jersey. So I haven't seen that before. That's pretty cool. But they had to do a reset, just like I've had to do twice with the Wi-Fi tonight. Even in the major leagues, I guess they have to do resets. And so They took the Bluetooth remote control out, tossed it at Max Muncy so he could be close enough to have the signal click, and he pushes the button. Shohei reconnects, and that's where we are with one out after a pop out from the initial hitter. And that brings up Lewis, the number 6 hitter, who is 0 for 1 tonight. Boy, and now Shohei's clicking. So 0-2 early. And Shohei looks like a different pitcher. Pitch on the way. And strike 3, another strikeout from Shohei Ohtani. So 2 away just like that. It almost took longer for them to reconnect the comm system for Shohei to get what pitches they're calling than it did to strike out two batters. So that brings up the number 7 hitter, Lee, who is 1 for 1 today. The count 1-1. Next pitch misses outside for ball 2. With 2 outs. 2-1 pitch on the way. Another miss for ball 3. And the 3-1 pitch almost gets by rushing. Ice cream cone catch just on the edge of the glove. Not that that was really stressful because there was nobody on base, but walks the hitter, and Ohtani walks off of the mound and starts picking at that blister spot again. So 2 away, and now Gray comes up with a runner on first. First pitch, swung on and hit hard down the right field line. And that's going to be a stand-up double for Gray. He really blistered that. Freddie Freeman could not jump high enough to get a glove on it. And so it was inside of the right field line. And then once it made contact with the outfield grass, rolled to out of bounds. And so the runners advanced to second and third with the stand-up double. So now Kreidler comes up. And 2 away. And first pitch is a ball. Kreidler knocked a couple of runs in the last time. And the 1-0 pitch to Kreidler on the way. Swung on, contact. Mookie Betts stretches to get the ball, pirouettes, throws the first, and it's an out for the Dodgers. Wow, what a play by Mookie Betts. In a serious bind at the end of that inning with 2 outs, but 2 on, and Mookie saves their bacon with a great play on a ball that could have easily squeaked by into center field for not just a hit, but 2 more runs for the Twins. However, at the end of that inning and the end of 4, just a little bit of drama, but no runs for the Twins, and the Dodgers still have a 1-run lead. How's it going, Charlie? What a play that was by Betts. He didn't just have to reach, he had to field it with the ball literally behind the mass of his body. So he knocks it down to the ground, but the ball's in his glove. And then he does a 360 spin and delivers it to Freddie Freeman at first for the out. So first up is Andy Pages. And popped up meekly in the infield. And that's the first out of the inning. So next up is Freeman, who's had a busy and productive day. Ryan is up to 75 pitches. And Freeman hits it to right field for another hit. Second baseman was pretty deep on the grass, dove, but still couldn't get there. So that brings up Mookie Betts, who's 2 for 2 with a home run. Would love to keep the streak going and really start to feel himself with Freddie Freeman on first base. First pitch, swung on and lined to right field. And this might be a double. It's going to be in the corner and difficult to handle. Freddie Freeman is coming around to third, and Mookie is standing up at second base. He's not just doing the Dodger wave. He's doing the full dance. Feeling great. 3 for 3 today so far with a home run. And if he hits a triple, he'll hit for the cycle today, because he already has a home run, a single, and a double. And a big smile from Mookie Betts on second base. That's going to bring up Max Muncy, who's also 2 for 2. And runners on second and third in scoring position with only one out. A lot of early swings from batters this inning. See if Muncy does the same, and he doesn't. Looks at strike one at the bottom of the strike zone. Oh, 1 to Muncy with one away. Next pitch. Looks at strike 2. And now Ryan with a little bit of wave off body language, shaking off the calls that he's getting in the comm system. Oh, and it might be a pitch comm issue. Yeah, he looks like he's cursing his Bluetooth. So catcher's going to come out and talk to him about it. Yeah, I wonder what version of internet and, I don't know, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi they have there in Minnesota. Because now you have both Shohei and Ryan not able to connect to the high-tech system that they use these days to be able to suggest pitches to the pitchers. But it looks like it's going to be reconnected here. And we're going to get back underway. So now the count is 0-2 to Muncy, who looks a little disgusted with himself. But picks up his bat and steps back into the batter's box with runners on second and third and only one out at this point in the top of the fifth. Next pitch, misses low for ball one, 1-2. And the pitch on the way. Oh, well low. Swung on a miss by Muncy for a strikeout. All right, so it's going to be up to Alex Call to bring the runners home and, that are in scoring position on second and third. Number 6 hitter is 0 for 1 today. Call with the open stance to begin. Pitch on the way and fly to center field. Hardly had to move to make the third out of the inning. So runners on, but left on in scoring position. And the Dodgers still only have a 1-run lead. Twins trying to not get swept this series. So halfway through the game, and there have definitely been some ups and downs today. Rushing throws down. And we are ready for the next edition of Shohei Ohtani, a legend in the making. So first pitch on the way, called a strike, and right away, here is all over and done. We're going to look back and go, wow, how did that even happen? But he's shown mental toughness today, not just because he had a rough start and responded, but the last couple of times on the mound, he struggled. So, one away. And now Buxton is up, the beloved player for the Twins. And first pitch is swung on and hit pretty softly, a small chopper, shallow chopper to Max Muncy, charges it and makes the play at first. Great job by Muncy for the second out of the inning. So Clemens up in the 3 position without a hit so far today, and 2 away. batting .243 on the season and has 30 RBIs. First pitch is a 101-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike. And the next one, same medicine. This time Clemens swings and misses. So 100-mile-per-hour fastballs to Clemens. And the count quickly is 0-2. Next one misses, 1-2. Next pitch on the way and bounces well in front of the plate. And then off of Rushing's glove and to the backstop. That brings the count to 2-2. Next one is swung and fouled off. Count remains 2-2. Ohtani climbing to 70 pitches, about to throw his 69th. 2 away with a 2-2 count. And the pitch is hit hard to first base, but nothing but an easy play made by Freddie Freeman, and that's the third out of the inning. That pitch at 101. So we get to the top of the 6th, and Ryan Ward up, the 7-hitter, who is 0 for 2 today, and batting .212. Great wheels. But obviously, it can be a challenge for him to get on base and use those wheels as a weapon. And the count to Ward is 2-1. And 2-2 now to Ward. All right, pitch on the way to Ward, and he fouls it back, stays alive, 2-2. Six, 7 trying to get on base. And the pitch on the way. Kind of jams him up inside, hit on the skinny part of the bat near the hands, and hit meekly to second base for an early out and an early easy play. So that brings up the catcher, Dalton Rushing again. And He has just been mystified by Ryan tonight. And he could still be in a funk. He might be in a funk the rest of the day based on what happened between he and Shohei early on. But the first pitch swung on a miss for a strike. So then backs out, and he's going to come back in. And then the pitch swung on a miss. Man, and you can hear Rushing drop a huge F-bomb. So that's the second F-bomb we've heard tonight from her. And they might have been habits that got you to a successful point in life to this point. Are the habits you're going to carry on because even though your brain's not fully formed until your mid-20s, those habits that you've gradually acquired the first 18 years are going to be hard to break. And if he's hard-headed, and I'm not saying he is, then it's not going to be better for him going forward. So. Wow. And he looks at another strike three. Looked like it was a knuckle curve. So 2 away, and that brings up Freeland. Even if he's not feeling it at the plate, and the two things are interconnected, he's got to be good behind the plate. He's still got a very important job, one of the most important jobs of the defense on so many different levels. So 2 away, Freeland up. The thing about Rushing is he's got to get some better body language whenever he's struggling. I mean, the game is full of struggles. So the pitch to Freeland, hit deep to right center, and it's a great defensive play by the right fielder. Makes some light contact with the fence after he makes the catch on the warning track and effectively stole a double from Freeland. So at the middle of 6, still 4-3. Great play by Cody Clemens to get to right center from right field in a hurry and make that play and take away some extra bases from Freeland. And it looks like Joe Ryan's done for the day. They have the bullpen activated. But Shohei's still going. And the first pitch misses well low for ball 1. Ohtani's been on a roll, though, the last couple of innings, throwing some heaters. And throws another one, 101 miles an hour, but it misses low for ball 2. So the cleanup hitter Bell at the plate. And the next pitch also misses. 3-0. See if Bell has the green light to be able to swing, or if he's going to be taken. Really don't want to start this inning off with a leadoff walk. Next pitch, swung on and fouled, so Bell had the green light to swing. And now the count is 3-1. And strike 2 from Ohtani to Bell. So no outs. And the count is full. See if he challenges him with heat. Pitch, and it's fouled off. It was not a fastball, it was a sweeper, and the count remains full. So full count, and Ohtani hits him with heat for strike 3. Another strikeout. So now Caratini, whose best contribution during this series has been overturning the home plate umpire. First pitch is a ball. Ohtani looks down at what I now know is the communication control box. Not big, but it's under his sleeve. So hopefully he's not having Bluetooth connection issues again. But the second pitch also misses. Ball 2. Wonder if anybody's up in the bullpen. Misses with a sweeper. 2-0 with 1 out. And the next pitch misses. Ball 3. He's pushing the button on that communication device under his sleeve. So it's obviously cutting in and out all game. Next pitch in there for a strike. 3-1. He keeps putting his glove over his mouth, so I don't know if he's trying to talk. I don't really see his mouth moving though. Next pitch. Inside part of the strike zone for strike 2. So I don't know, maybe he's going rogue. Just trying to say, hey man, I can't hear you. I'm gonna do my own thing, call my own pitches. But full count, and we'll take it. And the next, his pitching hand wraps all the way around and almost touches the numbers on his back. And it's really kind of the same mechanics to a large extent, starting with your base and your feet from the ground up, that quarterbacks use to generate power and spin on the ball. But 2 away in this inning. And very quickly, Lewis is in a hole, facing 0-2. So Ohtani with some wild pitches, but also some strikes, just unhittable. And the next one gets another bite brushing. That's either the 4th or the 5th pitch that has gotten past the catcher today. And it's not all on rushing, although he probably could have dug that one. He didn't move his body over, but there's nobody on base. So it's no big deal to let that one go through, but it's 1-2. Ohtani now almost up to 90 pitches on the game. And the 2-2 pitch misses low. Lewis with a quiet night trying to make something happen. Swung on. And ground ball covered quickly by Mookie Betts and makes the difficult look easy for the third out. So Betts really feeling it tonight, both in the field and at the plate. 3 for 3 at the plate with a possibility of hitting the cycle. Just needs a triple. All right, so Ohtani jumps into the dugout, gets his bat, and comes up to face Anthony Bonda. So Ryan with a solid day and ends up right around his ERA average with 3 runs. He was at 2.99 when the day started. So first pitch misses, and it's 1-0. And so does the second pitch. And when we get to this point of the game, I usually start thinking about getting those last 9 outs. But Ohtani looks at a strike and challenges. But I don't think that's going to be successful. Right now, it's full count on him. Yeah, and he lost on that challenge. I'm okay with him using that challenge in that situation. I mean, I prefer it to be a much more clutch situation. But here we are, full count. And Ohtani, who was in the box, steps out, takes off his batter's helmet, slicks back the hair, and then gathers himself, steps back in the batter's box. So no outs. And the next pitch is really close. And takes ball 4, but Caratini, oh no, not Caratini. His challenges are amazing. Oh, Caratini was correct again. Maybe their most important player on defense during this series overcomes the home plate umpire. And so instead of the Dodgers starting with a leadoff runner, Shohei Ohtani goes down looking at strike 3. So Andy Paez up next. First pitch misses. Be nice if Paez can get up on Bonda, early, and then get a pitch that he really likes. So 2-0 to Andy. Next pitch. Fouled off for strike one. Change up at 86 miles an hour. And the Dodger bullpen is activated, so that's going to be it for Shohei. And it's 2-2 now to Andy Pages. Pitch from Bonda. And it bounces. Pitch is well inside, and they're acting, Pages is acting like it hit him on the foot. He didn't try to avoid it. I mean, he leaned back with his hips, as hopefully you saw there, but I think it hit him on the top of his right foot. So, hit by a pitch. Pages goes to first base with one out, and that brings up Freddie Freeman. Catcher jumps up like Andy was going to steal, but he's not going. And that just ends up being ball one. And he gets a mild, non-threatening lead. Next pitch, swung on a miss for strike one. Of course, we'd love some insurance runs going into the last third of the game. And the man of the hour, as much as anybody else, Mookie Betts, is on deck. So looks over to first, and a pitch out, but no good. And Andy Pages does steal and takes second base rather easily. Caratini's done a nice job overturning the umpire, but he does not look very scary throwing down a second base. And obviously the Dodgers have a book on that. I mean, it wasn't even close. Play at second wasn't even close. Next, Freeman gets a single to center field, and now that stolen base turns into a runner at third base. Great timing and execution by the Dodgers. So Freeman with another hit, and now we have runners on first and third with only one out, and Mookie Betts, who's 3 for 3, looking for a triple to hit the cycle today. And looks at the first pitch, right down the middle for a strike, 0-1. Anthony Bonda, who played for the Dodgers and got a ring, and got to visit with his former teammates before the game tonight. On the mound, trying to keep them from scoring. And now the count to Betts is 1-1. So first and third with one away and a one-run game. And Gomez up in the bullpen for the Twins. So we'll see if Bonda gets a quick hook, but it's going to depend partly on what happens at the plate. 2-1 to Mookie Betts. Pitch from Bonda on the way. Swung on and flied high and shallow in the infield. And this is going to be an easy out. And the second. So now 2 away. Runners first and third. And now Max Muncy comes up trying to get an insurance run for the Dodgers. Muncy's been on a tear. First pitch is high for ball 1. Now 1-1. And the crowd weakly tries to get a chant going. But the Dodgers have had the Twins number this week and really for a long time. Next pitch on the way, and it's fouled for strike 2, 1-2. One and two, with 2 away and 2 runners on. And the pitch on the way from Bonda, and Freddie Freeman was going with 2 strikes and 2 outs, but once he chases and strikes out and not happy, throws his bat. So that's the end of the top of the 7th, and time for the 7th inning stretch, everybody. All right, now we're going to be bringing in Kyle Hurt, who's been up and down. Really like winning time is right now and the next inning. If we can get to our closer in the 9th, it's not guaranteed, but we're going to feel pretty good. Right now is the dicey time. So the early counter from Hurt to Lee is 2-0. And the next pitch is a strike, 2-1. Twins trying to get the rally caps going, metaphorically speaking. And the next pitch from Hurt misses for ball 3. 3-1. And the next pitch, right on the lower inside corner, called a ball, but Rushing's going to challenge. And the challenge is successful. All right, Rushing. So instead of a walk, it's a full count, and that's a good time to challenge, and of course, even better when it's successful. So full count to Lee. And the next pitch misses well inside. So the challenge is a little bit wasted by Hurt. And they start the inning with a runner. The exact opposite of what we wanted to see in this crunch time. So no outs. First runner gets on. That brings up the number 8 hitter, Gray, who's 2 for 2. You wouldn't normally expect that from somebody in the 8th position. Early count is 1-1 to Gray. This is really like our Achilles heel, if anything, is our middle relievers, whether it's Hurt or it's Will Klein, who had to start the other day, and it was out of position for him, but struggled in that position. Will Klein's up and down. We've got a bunch of middle relief pitchers that can be hit and miss, and they're not terrible. But that's the one part of our team I would say is a weakness or mediocre. Fouled off, so the count is 1-2. So Hurt sets and throws to first. So he's going to reload with 2 strikes. So Gray's been dangerous tonight. The 2-strike pitch swung on a miss. Strike 3. We definitely needed that. So 1 away. And now Kreidler, who's 1 for 2, batting in the 9 position, comes up with the runner on first. And first pitch misses for a ball, 1-0. Hurt still eyeing first base. Doesn't want somebody to unnecessarily get into scoring position. And the 1-0 pitch misses for ball 2. 2-0 with 1 away. So Hurt steps off the mound, takes off his glove, rubs the ball. This is one of the things he does when he's struggling a little bit. Got a little bit spoiled yesterday with that big blowout by the Dodgers, but this is more normal for us. Hurt throws to first. Just keeps the runner on. But these one-run games, man, they can be kind of tense. Two and one. Eight outs away from the victory. But I mean, that's what you do as a championship team, is win the close ones. Swung on, popped up, and easy out made in shallow left center. And now there's two away, and we're 7 outs away from the victory. But we're now facing the top of the lineup, Larnach. Larnach's 0 for 3. And the first pitch. Wow, they try to steal second base. And rushing looked like it was a good throw. And Mookie Betts trips over second base. Can't even put a glove on the ball. And the ball just goes into the outfield. And that's part of what you try to do by stealing, or at least attempting to steal, and putting the ball in play. Because ultimately, even with somebody who plays at an all-star level on defense like Mookie Betts does, is human, and they can make mistakes. The good thing about that was that it looked like Rushing made a really good throw. And even though Mookie stumbled and couldn't even put a glove on the ball, Rushing, they cut right to Rushing, and he didn't look like he had that negative body language like he did earlier in the game. And the next pitch is in the dirt, and Rushing picks it. So that's good. Hopefully he's moved on from earlier. And 2 outs with the ever-dangerous Buxton on deck. And the next pitch misses for a ball, 3-1. Man. And now Vesia is up in the bullpen, who I love. I know we're trying to develop people like Hurt, but man, he just makes me nervous. He is so shaky. And misses with the next pitch, ball 4. So now we have runners on both bases, first and second with 2 outs, and we're bringing up Buxton, who can hit a jack in a second. So now they have a conference on the mound. The question is, are they trying to buy time so they can bring in Vesia, or are they just going to talk to Hurt and try to help him get himself together? See if we can pick up their lip motions. See what they're saying. Come on, 3D. I guess they have no trackers for the 3D. Looks like they're forearm blasting each other. No trackers on the 3D for when the pitching coach comes out, because it didn't show him, or at least it didn't this time. But they're going to leave Hurt in the game. This is as stressful as it's been this entire game, with Buxton up. And Buxton's 0 for 3, but he's got power. Batting .272 on the season. So 2 away, runners on first and second. And the first pitch to Buxton is a strike. All right, we like that. Welcome to LA Press Box, everybody. It's not always fun being in the box like this, but if we can keep you up to date, it's worth it. And the next pitch is a strike. So 0-2 to Buxton. But it only takes one. as they say. 0-2 pitch, misses for ball 1. If Buxton gets on, even if they don't score, or maybe especially if they do, because he gets a hit, I bring in Vesia, man. Don't mess around with Hurt. Count now 2-2. Taking a minute to get themselves together. And now the pitch is on the way from Hurt. Swung on, contact made, but a meager pop-up out of bounds, and Freddie Freeman makes the catch for the third out. And we get out of a very stressful inning. Man, Hurt just brings me so much anxiety. And so hopefully Alex Vesia is definitely in the next inning. But we escape, and the score stays the same. Dodgers 4, Twins 3. So the Dodgers now definitely in some need of some insurance, although I feel better with the next two pitchers that are probably coming up. Should be Alex Vesia the next inning, and then hopefully if the game stays the way that it is, it'll be Tanner Scott for the closeout in the 9th inning. Twins bring in Gomez, and he's going to face the 6th hitter, Alex Call, who's had a bit of a dreamy week so far, but tonight he's 0 for 2. And the early count to Call is 2-1. Next pitch, fouled off for strike 2, 2-2. So the pitch on the way from Gomez. Contact made and flied to shallow center, where Buxton easily makes the play for the first out. So that'll bring up Ward, who's 0 for 3. And batting just over 200. I mean, that's just not going to get it done. I can't wait for some of these guys to get healthy and come back. Teoscar to come back. Hopefully Will Clark, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. I think they're trying to go slow with Tommy Edman. He's been on a tear this week as he's come back from ankle surgery and the rehab assignment, but they don't want to overdo it too much. So I can see why they're resting him tonight, and that'll give him 2 days back-to-back rest if they end up wanting to play him against the Padres. But Ward also pops up for the second out, and now Dalton Rushing comes up, and he's got to be relieved that Ryan's out of the game, because Ryan just owned him. I mean, he's made Rushing look silly. First pitch is fouled off for strike 1. What's up, Charlie? Charlie? So 0-1 to rushing. And contact made for another weak pop-up and the third out of the inning. So that was pretty listless from the Dodgers batters, although it's from the Young Bucks, who were used to underperforming at this point. And so very quick at bat for the Dodgers. Now we're just hoping that bring in Alex Vesia. Put these guys away. What's going on, Charlie? What's going on, Charlie? Charlie? I see you. I see you. Hey, man. Get down lower. All right, I don't know. Does that look like Alex Vesia? Can't tell. I think he looks a little darker than Hurt, the 3D anyway. Oh, but now he's sinking into the dirt. Haven't marked it or confirmed it yet. Let's see. Nope, still not confirmed it. Boy, that body language looks like him, though. Looks like, at the minimum, a new pitcher. When they come in and they dig their cleats into the mound like that, they're trying to find the spots that they feel comfortable and the way to deliver the ball that's kind of custom to them. And yeah, it says Vesia. Okay, that's what we want. A fiery competitor. Put these guys away and sweep the Twins. And he motions to Rushing to throw it on a second. So 2.49 ERA from Vesia in 34 games. 34 strikeouts. And speak of Tommy Edman, he comes in. He's in the outfield, replacing Ryan Ward at left. Well, I guess you get the best of both worlds by having Tommy Edman get a little bit of work on his ankle as he continues to try to get into position to play full-time and replace one of these guys. Because we got to, no offense, but this is the majors and you're playing for a championship team. We got to have better production in the lineup. And Tommy Edman has been between 350 and 400 with his batting average in his first week back. So Alex Vesia pitching to Clemens, and the early count to him is 1-1. Next pitch, swung on and missed. Strike two. I like the way Vesia's fastball gets there, even though it doesn't hit the clock at like 101. Next one misses for ball 2, 2-2. But that's where movement makes a big difference. And he's not an overly tall guy, and he doesn't have overly long arms, but the ball gets there in a hurry. I wish I knew the science behind it. All I know is I'm right. Yeah. But the next pitch is swung on a miss for strike 3. So, Alex Vesia right now just trying to put a dagger in these guys. We're still 5 outs away. So, 1 out on a strikeout. And that brings up the cleanup hitter, Bell, who's 0 for 3 tonight. And the first pitch is a strike, 0-1. Next pitch, swung on a missed. Strike 2, 0-2. I like it, I like it. So with one away, the 0-2 pitch from Vesia about to be delivered. And Bell just looks at it for strike 3. And Vesia marches off the mound in a little mini circle triumphantly. Keeps himself getting hyped, as he often does. And Caratini up next, who's 1 for 3, 238 on the season. Catcher's made some clutch plays, typically behind the plate, but tonight had a big hit. And first pitch is inside for a ball, 1-0. So Vesia walks off the mound, takes a big deep breath, shoulders heave high, and then he marches right back to the top of the mound. You know, if Vesia was like a little movie, it would be the movie of taking one pitch 1 minute at a time. Next pitch in there for a strike. 1-1. You know, when we go after a strike especially, he like marches to the front of the mound and like snatches the ball out of the air when the catcher throws it back. Next pitch. Change up for strike 2. All right, so here we go, Vesia. 2 strikes to Caratini with 2 outs. And hit to left field for a base hit. So Caratini makes contact and makes Vesia pay for going to the changeup a little too often, although it's been an awesome pitch this year. I think he only gave up 1 or 2 hits the entire season so far on that pitch up until that point. So runner on with 2 outs, and that brings up the 6-hitter Lewis. Lewis has got this double stripe eye black below each eye. That looks kind of silly. And Vesia starts him off with a strike. Next pitch on the way. Swung on a miss, strike 2. So Vesia gets up 2 on the next hitter, hoping this time he can put the hitter away rather than giving up a hit. So with 2 away and 2 strikes, the pitch on the way. Swung on and blasted to left, but out of bounds in foul territory. So just an exciting strike and a broken bat in the process. Vesia trying to close out the inning. Oh and 2. Runner on first. Vesia trying to close the door on this inning. Pitch on the way, swung on, hit solid to left field, and another base hit for the Twins. So they stay alive and move the runner forward, and now they have runners on first and second with 2 outs. Man, I got what I wanted. I got Vesia, but after a strong start, in a little bit of trouble. And now they're going to have a conference at the mound. Rushing and Vesia talking. Meanwhile, they bring in a pinch runner at second base, try to get some more speed, get him home from second base so that they can tie the game up. And no evidence of the pitching coach coming out, just invisible in the 3D, but definitely happened on the TV broadcast. So Vesia trying to gather himself up. I still trust him. I trust him. And the first pitch misses high for ball one. Tension ratcheting up a little bit. The 1-0 pitch. In there for a strike, 1-1. Speedy Fedko at second. And the next pitch, a slider swung on a miss for strike two. So, 2 strikes once again. But we've been here before. Last 2 batters made solid contact. This one doesn't look as confident, though. He takes a big breath. Vesia shakes off whatever the pitch was that was called in his comm system under his hat. And chooses to throw a big curving slider and misses for ball 2. So now it's 2-2 with 2 runners on and 2 outs. So deuces wild. And the pitch about to be delivered from Vesia. And swung on a miss for strike 3. I told you I trusted him. I trust Vesia. Well done, sir. Well done. Way to dig out of your own hole. So, a fruitless outing for those runners in position for the Twins. And now 3 outs away from another victory and the sweep for the Dodgers over the Twins. All right, I'm a little tentative to ask for what I want next because I just asked for Vesia, but I said I believed in Vesia. And he got it done. He did not give up the run. Gave up 2 hits after 2 strikeouts. But I'm going to stick with the tendencies and character and what performance has looked like over the long haul. And I'm going to ask for Tanner Scott to close out the game. I'm also going to ask for some insurance runs. See if the Dodgers can get these at the top of the 9th. So our opportunity to get some insurance runs start with Alex Freeland, who does have a hit. The Twins bring in Andrew Morris to face him, who's been in 26 games so far this year. And Alex Jackson in to catch since they pinch ran for Caratini. Jackson, the new catcher, went to Rancho Bernardo High School, RB in San Diego. Not far off the 15 freeway. Good, solid high school. Early count to Freeland is 0-2. Freeland ninth in the batting order. Pitch on the way and flied high, but second baseman without too much trouble goes into shallow right field and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. All right, Shohei Ohtani coming up, and now his average is, solid 8 points below 300. He does have a hit tonight. But he struck out twice tonight. One time looking, another time swinging. First pitch is a strike to Ohtani. So 0-1, and the next pitch from Morris, called a ball. And Jackson challenges. Thank goodness it's not Caratini. That guy's almost infallible in the challenges. And luckily, the call is confirmed. All right, all right. So 1-1 to Ohtani. One away. And the pitch swung on in line to right field for a hit. Miles an hour approximately off the bat, and Ohtani gets on with a single and one away. So now Pages comes up 0-3. And the Dodgers still looking for some insurance runs. And Pages looking for his first hit. Swings at the first pitch, right to the shortstop, goes to 2. 2 goes to 1, and the double play is locked down. So, quick inning for the Dodgers there. And now it's going to be up to, hopefully, Tanner Scott to come in and close this out. See if we can figure it out. Oh, I see Scott. I don't know why it's showing Scott running into outfield. Probably right name, wrong 3D figure. Better be Scott. Better be Scott. So, bottom of the ninth. And it is Tanner Scott, who's pitched 34 games, and out of 11 opportunities, he's converted 10 saves this year. I mean, he's just been so solid, so drama-free, so good in the clutch, and that's exactly what you need from your closer. All right, so we're going to start off this ninth inning against the Twins with a strike to Austin Martin. Not the car, not the Aston Martin. Pinch hitter. Twins trying to get something started, just like they tried to create some offense last inning by putting in a pinch runner on second base. So the Pitch on the way from Scott and grounded into right field in a huge open spot there. The Dodgers were shifted. They just shifted their infield to the left. As you can see, they had the second baseman playing maybe 10 feet from second base. He had no chance against that ground ball. And so, we start off the inning with a base hit. Now he's a little further to his left, but Kreidler's up with nobody out and a runner on first. And the next at bat is just popped up to right field for a quick and easy out. So one away just like that, and the Twins are going to pinch hit again. They're bringing up Luke Keeschel. You got to give him credit for pulling out all the stops, trying to not get swept by the Dodgers. But they've been behind by a run for several innings now after the early fireworks from both teams. Be nice to get a double play at this point. Just get out of here with a sweep. But we have our closer on, and there's a runner on first. The tying run represents the tying run, and there's one away. And the first pitch is fouled back for strike one, so 0-1 with one away. Technically the top of the lineup for the Twins with Keeschel coming in. Interesting to see if they try to steal. Probably not, because outs are at a premium in this situation, even though they got a speedy guy on first. The last time they tried to steal, they got there without a play on the base, but that's because Mookie Betts tripped over the base. And if they were paying attention, as I'm sure they get paid to do, they noticed that it was a good throw from the catcher rushing. So you're not going to expect Mookie Betts, as athletic as he is, to trip again. And so you don't expect him to send somebody down, no matter how fast they are. And the next pitch is swung on a miss for strike two, 1-2. Keeschel trying to move the runner. Counts 1-2. The pitch on the way, misses for ball two. So now it's 2-2 with one away. And the ever dangerous Buxton on deck. It's been pretty quiet tonight, but all it takes is one. And he can get a walk-off home run. He's got that kind of power. And connecting with a fastball from Tanner Scott, give it extra juice. Keeschel walks out. A little bit of mind games here. And the full count pitch. Check swing for strike three. Pitch was low and out of the strike zone, but tempting, and tempting enough. So now, two away, man on first. But Buxton up. Fan favorite, but he's 0 for 4 so far tonight. And a guy with a no-trade clause that loves the Twins, just to give you a little bit of a profile on the player like that, really wants to do something for the home fans. Especially in a huge situation like this. I mean, a walk-off homer to win the game would be huge for him, and might be pressing a little bit as he swings at the first pitch for strike one. I'm not reading his mind, but I would not be surprised. I mean, of course, on the basic level, he wants to give the fans and his teammates something huge. But next pitch, he watches for a ball, 1-1. So more drama that we don't appreciate. But then again, that's part of what makes baseball fun, is these key situations near the end of the game. Watches the next pitch for a ball. Now it's 2-1. So Dodgers clinging to a 1-run lead with 2 outs, but a runner representing the tying run on first base. And the next pitch, inside corner for a strike. So now 2-2. And the Dodgers are 1 strike away from sweeping the Twins, getting a well-deserved day off, getting ready to head into San Diego after tomorrow to play against their modern rivals. Next pitch, misses. And now, count is full. 3-2 to Buxton, looking for some heroics late in this game. Got to protect the plate with 2 strikes, full count, and 2 outs down a run. And swung on a miss for strike 3. Buxton goes down swinging, and that is the game, everybody, for the Dodgers. Great job by Tanner Scott, and great job by the Dodgers. Another 1-run victory for LA. So they did it with an explosion of runs yesterday and hits that matched their highest output of the season. And they also did it in the clutch today when they really needed it, and they somewhat underperformed at the plate, although I put a lot of that on the youngsters that hopefully are going to be replaced when we get some people back from injury. But regardless, a win is a win, and the Dodgers well in front in the NL West standings, and then keep the best record in baseball. So for the Dodgers, that is a welcome sweep, and tomorrow is a trip back, or tonight is a trip back. And it's going to be a welcome day off before they head just a little bit south. And that's all that we're going to have from LA Press Box tonight. So thanks for joining us.